Hello, fellow ninjas. It is me, Robin, your community manager, and I am so excited to be joined today by Robert von Oorschot, also known as Lobby. Did I mess up the last name? I might have.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
it's
please,
fine.
no, it's not fine.
Van Oorschot.
Von Oorschot.
Yeah, like that.
And
Almost.
then ChromeShavings, also a great ninja star. Um, you can find them all over our Discord. And the great thing about our Discord and finding them all over our Discord is that in those conversations, we find out things like, what are you doing with vulnerability? How are you handling that in your work? And what can you tell our audience, our community about how to do that and how to do that better? So that's what this is all about. So we're talking about identifying vulnerabilities, um, hopefully this is going to help you if you're just kind of sticking your toe in that arena, or if it's something that you have to do and you're not sure if you're doing it as well as you could be doing it. um, this is what this is all about. So earlier this week we had Greg Thomas and Mark Berman go over the new vulnerability management with NinjaOne. This is more just, you have to deal with vulnerabilities, whether you use NinjaOne or not. And what does that mean? What does that entail? And here are two people who know what they're talking about, and who have done some pretty cool things. Just letting you know what they do and what to look out for. So, great. Do you guys want to really introduce yourselves?
Yeah, also. My name's Robert. Robert van Oorschot. Yeah, I'll pronounce it properly. I've been in IT since 2002, and I've been in the Royal Dutch Army for 12 and a half years, where I started my IT career. And then after that, I've joined several MSP companies, and I'm in internal IT right now. So just an okay flick. That's me.
Awesome. And I'm ChromeShavings. I work for a state entity. Not going to name it, but I started out in a nonprofit. I moved into the collegiate sector. Went from the collegiate sector to the human services sector, and then I'm working for a known conservation agency now. So I've been doing this for, gosh, 12 years, I think. It's been a little over that. Started in high school and then worked my way up. So, but it's been a blast.
Awesome. Um, and just housekeeping as normal. Hold on, not seeing the video.
Oh,
Let me. Oh,
still waiting on YouTube. Oh.
it says it's live on YouTube. I can see it. Maybe it's LinkedIn or Facebook that's having
Let's see.
issues. If well, I'm saying this on a video that you cannot see. I was gonna say if you're watching on LinkedIn, maybe
Yeah.
turn to YouTube, but you can't see us. So
Uh,
let's see. It says it's live, but
yeah.
let me.
So on YouTube it says there's two live streams, but this is not the one that went live. Oh.
Hmm. This is all the fun of being live. Why does it say
Yeah.
that there's two?
I-
Let me share
yeah.
again
There's a
the one that's live.
different link as well. This one.
Oh,
There we go.
same thing. LinkedIn
Yeah.
is working. Okay, so
Yeah.
I think we've got it. I don't know why two streams are up on YouTube. That's not happened before, but technology. These are
Yeah.
vulnerabilities that we're talking about here. Um, so, uh, as I was saying, let us know in the chat like where you're from. Drop questions. We'll get to them as we go along, and let's let's get started, shall we? So,
Yeah.
um, let's put this up.
All right.
Next slide, please. Yeah. So this is the basic setup that we had, just with all the vulnerabilities that are there. Start with visibility, build a process, automate what you can, and then use the community to accelerate, because there's been plenty of people who have already done what you're going to do. So make use of what's already there. Just ask around, look around, Google, whatever, and you can find so much stuff. That's much better. So here we go. This is not a live demo. So I did make some screenshots yesterday. I had some systems that I did not patch for about a month. And then I did some patching yesterday. So there we go. This is one of the systems that we had. On the right, I do have the beta enabled for the real-time software assessment. That's what we're going to show as well. And what that does is, if you saw the stream from Greg like 12 days ago, it shows you the vulnerability assessment.
And it's pretty real time, right, Robert? I mean, from other products that I've used, I will say, I'll go ahead and say this. I use CrowdStrike. I've used Rapid7. Rapid7 is an every 6 hour check-in for their agent. CrowdStrike is every hour. This is real
Yeah,
time. So just so everyone out there knows,
yeah,
if you have this turned on, it is literally real time.
yeah. What it does, it does use AI, but it checks it all online. So on their side, it's nothing live on an agent on the machine as well. It takes all the data from there, it matches it with the CVEs, the NIST database, as far I think Greg mentioned. Uh, on the system, we had some vulnerabilities for Firefox and uh, Acrobat Reader. It should show just behind our faces. Um, I turned on patching. I had it set to manual patching for like a month. I approved all those, made screenshots, and started it. So if we can go to the next one. There we go. As you can see over there, last OS patch install. That was yesterday evening. Made screenshots. And if we go to the next one, no more vulnerabilities. So Firefox patched, Acrobat Reader patched. You can see it on the right. Notepad patched as well. Uh, there's some other stuff. I put the whole NinjaOne software list on manual for everything. Had everything that you could install. Put it on the VM, and it was fine like that. So that was the semi-live demo that we had here.
That's right. And going off of what Robert said, oh, Robbie, you popped in there. Was there a question?
Yeah, there is just one question, and I think we kind of mentioned it already, but Token wants to know, how long does it take for new vulnerabilities to show up and link to the NVDE and show in Ninja? And so
I think Greg mentioned this in his previous webinar, like the one I was talking about. Maybe do you have the link if you
I
can
do
share
have that
it,
link. I
Robbie?
will share that.
Yeah, we can put it in the chat and you can watch it later, but it should be within hours. So once it's updated from the NVD, and it will, the telemetry and all the CVEs will be sent over to Ninja as well, and they will match it on the vulnerabilities on your devices. So should be within hours, if I can quote Greg on that.
Yeah, and the first pillar here talks about visibility being like your number one thing that you don't know what you don't know, right? So one thing that vulnerability management allows you to do is to see what's out there in your environment. Um, Now, NinjaOne being new to the vulnerability space, it's still building out certain components, right? there are certain ones that I can talk to today, Robin, if you're okay with that, that actually have some of this capability. One that I use in house that I also ingest into the actual platform is Rapid7. Rapid7 has been around for several years. Robert, you've used that
Yep.
in prior businesses, right?
Yep.
And that one is good enough because it does two things. It does an agent-based scan, which NinjaOne does a fantastic job of here. I would say even better in certain components, being able to do real-time scanning as well.
Yep.
But then also the one gap that we'll also talk about later on is the visibility of those that can accept the agent. So like nodes like your firewalls, your switches, your UPSs or your PDUs, your printers, your IP cameras, things like that that are also maybe considered the IoT space, Internet of Things. You can't put an agent on those. So we'll discuss more about that later. But visibility is your absolute first component. You need to make sure that you know what you know.
Yep.
And then the second thing is the process. Uh, Having the tools don't actually fix vulnerabilities, processes fix the vulnerabilities. So having a game plan of where to start, what angles of attack you want to go at. There's different ways to tackle this. There's different groupings of assets and things that you can tackle first. Some things like Rapid7, and I know that NinjaOne is building this out as well, are reports to help you kind of understand what's out there in your environment. Rapid7, I will say, does something called a top 25 risk assessment report, shows the most risks in your environment based on how many assets are out there and how many vulnerabilities are out there, but also how many common vulnerabilities of the same vulnerability, the overall third-party package or what have you, are on these devices, and it calculates them in a top 25 risk score report. So you can easily start with that, and it can tell you, how many to knock out at once, or if you were to knock out 3 of these, what your risk score would be, et cetera, et cetera. So having a process, having that reporting piece after you have visibility is extremely important. And something that I've never been good at, but I know Robert is a fantastic one at, is trying to build out the automation component between the CVEs and the actual software itself. So there are so many tools out there that claim that they can do the automation piece. NinjaOne is one of those tools that can actually do it. Robert, did you want to touch base on that some?
Yeah, so they do have an API just to get all the visibility from all those systems like Rapid7 or CrowdStrike or whatever, to get that visibility in Ninja. And um, they are working on implementing a lot more stuff, but it's coming in 14. Like if there are known exploits for those vulnerabilities, there will be a filter. Like whatever, you have a 2-year-old version of Firefox, it has quite a few of those. There will be newly added filters as well, but just for the automations that it can currently do uh, at the moment in Ninja in version 12, they only have the CVSS score vulnerability, so that you can base conditions on. If your score is above 9, if it detects something above a score 9, you can set it to patch automatically. And they are going to implement it like it's a generic score. At the moment, it's just for Windows OS. There's a it's just past Patch Tuesday. There's been a lot of new vulnerabilities from yesterday. If you do a scan, it shows up with a CVSS score of 9 or higher. You can set conditions to automatically patch those conditions, um, or delay those, whatever you want. The options are there, and they will implement those for generic CVSS scores. So any software, anything that you have in your system, it will be able to, well, run automations based on that.
Right, and two products I know of that Ninja does a great job of ingesting. If you can build out the actual automation component of ingesting the CVEs, is CrowdStrike Spotlight, Rapid7's vulnerability management solution. I believe Qualys is on there as well, but there's also one that's just native to the platform for vulnerability import, and you can use that one as well if you can't find yours in there.
Yeah,
To what extent it can ingest, I couldn't tell you, but I know there's guides out there on the solution portal to help you to help the community out there with trying to ingest those CVEs.
yeah. And I asked Greg earlier today. In 13, they will add Microsoft Defender as well. It should be there as a third-party app, so you can upload, well, your CVSS scores or CVEs from Defender as well. That should be a nice bonus for the next update, which will be tonight in Europe. So
Yeah. And I'm personally, Robert, I'm a fan of apples and oranges approach. I call it apples and oranges,
mhm.
where you have Rapid7, you have CrowdStrike, you have maybe some others that are just built into the actual platform like Ninja, having
Yeah,
all of that in visibility and seeing, okay, here's where they merge together, but here's also the ones that this tool is detected that is legitimate that this tool didn't, so that you
yeah,
have a better universal outlook of your environment. So
yeah. And that's what we'll hit on a bit further. So we have some samples here as well, like we already mentioned, Rapid7, CrowdStrike Tenable, all those. Just pick one and commit to it, and then preferably use something else, something free or whatever. Just any website that reports on vulnerabilities. There's so many ways just to get the visibility of the systems. If you have a specific vendor for your firewalls, subscribe, check their website, check their newsletters, everything. It's a good way to keep up to date, and the Discord as well. Any of the security channels, if there's something going on. Well, bleeping computer, all those
bleeping computer,
samples.
absolutely.
So yeah,
It's a big one.
yeah. Keep up to date. Check all those things, all the channels, just to get the visibility up. So
Right. And conducted discovery scan. So not many, I don't know how many, actually, I don't have statistics for this. So I would assume if you're going directly into the vulnerability space, you don't know that discovery scans, for instance, especially in Rapid7, they don't count against your license count. So you can start a trial, do a discovery scan of your environment, get permission first, plan, right?
yeah,
Plan your discovery scan. Uh, Make sure that you have your VLANs segregated out. Make sure that you have a plan of action to go into every single um, network that you know of and get that overall count. The best confidence threshold that I've seen and that I've read about, that is even documented on Rapid7 site, that's documented on other sites as well, is that between 60 to 65%, I would say 65% threshold of if you can ping it, if you can ARP, if you can scan it over ARP, if you can scan over a TCP scan, if it's 65% at least, that's a good confidence threshold of yes, that's pingable, that or that's that can be scanned. So therefore, that is a live asset that I can go ahead and count that as a node. And so just something to think about when you're planning out the actual scans, especially the network scans. Make sure that you have that confidence threshold at around 65%, which is the norm for most scanners. As far as agents go, though, you're in good shape, especially with NinjaOne. As long as you have the agent on there, it's already assessing vulnerabilities if you have that turned on. If you have Rapid7 or CrowdStrike installed, you have that already assessing as well, just at different intervals. So, but you're still trying to bridge that gap between, I don't know if that statistics here, but between 5 or 10%. I'm probably way off on the percentages, like I said, but it depends on your environment. It could be even less than 5%. There are still those nodes that you have to be able to assume can't accept the agent or you're blind of, and especially devices that walk into your environment. So if you're not doing consistent discovery scans or even vulnerability scans of your environment, you may not know that you have something on your network. So it's very important to pay attention to that. And the third thing, plan deployment carefully. Robert, did you want me to go ahead and discuss this? I've had a lot of experience with this part at least. So if you want, I can
go
go
ahead,
ahead and hit
go
that
ahead.
one.
Yeah,
So I've personally never been a part of this before, but there are certain softwares out there before I even got into the Rapid7 space. I won't name them. That if you do not have your planning phase carefully implemented, right, or at least planned out, and you start pushing that agent, you have to remember that that agent is uploading. So if you have certain sites that maybe have a low bandwidth upload amount, you have to calculate that. So you could have several machines that check in all at once and upload all at once. Now they may still stagger after the fact, but the initial upload can kill your environment. So I haven't seen this with modern tools, but there were certain tools in the past that did this, and it absolutely wreaked havoc and it destroyed confidence in the vulnerability management sector of security. So just be careful. I know with NinjaOne, we have the capability, especially with doing delays of agents if you decide to push those out. So just come up with some ideas on how to delay your agent deployments if you decide to go with a different product outside of NinjaOne. If you decide to go with NinjaOne, you're in good shape. There is no issue with that. If you've already deployed the agent out there, there has been no documented issues with that, and so you can just roll with the punches on that. So, but yeah, I just we need to mention that because a lot of places forget this part.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially if you have satellite sites that have low bandwidth. So.
Yep.
Oh, and here we
This
go.
was also
Network
for you.
gaps.
Yeah.
Yep. Network gaps, 5 to 10%. This is this is dependent on an environment. This is what I've seen in my environment, at least. Printers aren't the smartest, right? They're going to sometimes circle they're going to circle and circle and circle if you try to push out any kind of scans against them. They're sometimes they'll even spit out wingdings. If you don't know what a wingding is, look it up. It's like a bunch of different weird graphics and stars and all kinds of different shapes and stuff, and it doesn't make any sense, but that's what they do because they're in a loop. And so one port that I have been very successful in disabling across my environment that doesn't affect any kind of scan, although you are, I guess, blind to that one port, which one port's better than 65,000 plus. So disable that TCP UDP port. You don't need it. I haven't needed it. It will only cause issues and only cause your users to, I guess, call the help desk and freak out, realizing that their printer is printing out hundreds of pages of wingdings. So if you're doing a vulnerability scan, make sure to disable that port and then plan out your phased approach. Start with a small test group, expand to VLANs, full sites, and don't forget your external edge devices. If you're scanning internally, awesome. Don't forget about external sites. You got to make sure that you're closed on all sides there. If you have any vulnerable ports, make sure that you're at least assessing the external side as well. Edge devices, number 5, and then start with a baseline. So in my environment, once I had the full picture of all my sites, different locations, top 25 riskiest vulnerabilities, that's one angle. Start building your asset groups off by, at least in Rapid7's world, they do thousands and thousands based on the risk score, based on the cumulative amount of vulnerabilities. So like if you have a version 7, but you should be on version 14, it takes all those vulnerabilities up to that point, calculates it, builds a risk score upon that, and then does a calculation based off of industry, based off of your environment, and then takes all of that and then builds an entire risk score based off that. So it could be millions. Don't freak out. You have to have a baseline. So I freaked out the first time I saw it. I thought, oh no, we're never going to get anywhere with vulnerabilities. But remember, this is a proactive approach. You have to start somewhere. So, start with your baseline, build your asset groups, start hitting them at all angles, and you'll start seeing that vulnerability score or risk score go down. All right, Robert, did you want to cover this, or you want to get this one?
This is your list, so
okay.
Yeah,
Let's make sure.
I'll leave it to you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this is not an actual severity. This one's made up. It's called ultra critical. Anything that's a CZKEV, a known exploitable vulnerability, is something that if you're starting out in the vulnerability space, start with this one. Start with this list. Rapid7 has this list. CrowdStrike has this list. And I know NinjaOne at some point will be building a list like this just so you can start with this. And if they already have it, I apologize. I'm still learning this new platform as well on that side of things. But this is the side of things to really hit first. As far as SLA baselines, start with 72 hours for this. Maybe even give yourself a week. I know that's against most NIST requirements, uh, but again, you're starting somewhere, right? You're wanting to start here and you want to end up here. So give yourself some slack. Start with 72 hours. As far as the NIST 853 framework, at least for Vision 5 or so, try to go 24 hours. Within a day, get your change management process involved. Try to go down to 24 hours or less. And then if you're in the CGIS space, like we actually have to adhere to CGIS or FIPS, or you may have heard the FedRAMP type of thing, type of environment. You want to try to do it as immediately, less than 24 hours if possible. Again, with critical and high and medium, they're pretty much aligned with the CGIS and NIST framework. But as far as a beginner target, give yourself some slack. Start with 30 days. Try to understand what your environment is telling you, and then move down 15 days, at least with the critical, and then you can stay at the 30, and then go down, another 30 or so days for the medium and moderate. Uh, the low is going to be your hardest. I will say that. There's lots of lows and mediums. Um, my recommendation for the first year, if you have a lot of vulnerabilities and you don't have to adhere to a certain framework, ultra critical, critical, and high. Medium and low, you want to try and knock those out, but you really want to try to get a foothold on those three as well. So again, proactive security. So give yourself some slack. If you have this tool, you're already ahead of the game. All right.
For me to get this
Yeah, go
one
ahead.
or few of these.
Yeah, I can chime in
So
if I see something.
yeah. So managing exceptions. So at my old MSP, we had lists available where you could input any kind of exception, like this customer requested to have this port open or something. Put in your exceptions, manage them, write them all down, document them. It's really important. Just it shows there, uh, and review the reports. Like anything weekly or bi-weekly, have meetings set up, integrate them into existing meetings. Like if you have a operations meeting, add 15 minutes, 10 minutes to the existing meeting just to discuss like these are the new criticals, these are the new known exploited vulnerabilities, these are systems that we have. We have to do something. Add it to those meetings as well, and keep other people up to date. Like this is going on. Include the help desk manager. So if you get any questions from the service desk or help desk or whatever, so they know we know about it, we're working on it, so you have some answer to give to customers who call you. Last one, avoid alert fatigue. You have all these reports and all the visibility, but if there's too much and you don't do anything with it, it's, well, you have to prioritize. These are the ultra criticals, the known exploited vulnerabilities. Start with those. Prioritize. This week we're handling whatever. Next week it's this one. And assign those, well, what has to be done to the right people.
Yeah, and Robert, I was going to touch base on this one real quick. Uh,
Yeah.
some divisions or some organizations rather, they may not have a lot of technicians. So what happens if you only have one or two people who run the entire organization? Do your best. Automate as much as possible.
Yeah.
Come up with a baseline first. Chunk as you go down. Chunk the highs, chunk the criticals. Get it to a manageable, scalable amount of vulnerabilities. You will see, though, alert fatigue can be a thing in your environment if you have several, criticals and highs for different systems, especially if everyone is actually subscribed to a specific system and you're giving out reports for that system, they will see lots of alerts. So just be careful on how you do that.
Yeah, and it all depends on the kind of vulnerability as well. If there's something critical and it's a 10 on the CVSS score, but they need local network access, it's not that critical for you. You can, as long as they don't have local network access, it's you can have some time to patch it properly. Things like that.
Right. And also, if you're subscribed to CISAs or MSISACs or whatever part of the state, local, county, even federal government side of things, um, you can pay attention in the middle. It'll show you, okay, this affects the small business sector, medium, uh, larger state government could be high. Pay attention to that because that's going to help you kind of organize your thoughts on when do I need to get this pushed out. If this is a high for my organization, probably need to do this in less than a week, or maybe within 15 days or so, or just whatever is manageable for you. But that's something to pay attention to when you're subscribed to those newsletters.
Yeah, yeah. This one. So as we mentioned earlier, NinjaOne does have an API integration. So if you have anything that does not natively support uploading the CSVs to get the vulnerability insights from whatever into Ninja, they have the API integration. There's also the vulnerability importer, where you can just upload any CSV or yeah, with you just have to assign like this column is for the actual score. This column has the host names, and it will work very well. We have the automated patching that we mentioned earlier. I see a question there. Robin, can you put it on the screen?
Yeah. So this question, it's covering our faces, but
Yeah.
is there any plan to improve Ninja's patching library? Currently, there's a few apps managed by Ninja, but most of the apps are updated with Wingit, but Wingit doesn't have all the apps. So Lobby and Chrome do not work for Ninja. I do, but
Yeah.
I don't have the answer to that. You can check the product board. It might give you an idea of those plans, or you can submit that as a feature. What I will promise though is that after the stream is over, I will go ask the right people that question, and I'll come back and leave a comment with the answers that I get. But just to let you guys know again, like we on this stream can't give you
No.
timeline or whether or not that's being planned, but
No.
I will find that. I will find out and follow up.
For the ones that are on their list, they usually get updated within a few hours. Like Adobe last week, they had a pretty high score vulnerability, and it was updated within hours. Well,
Right.
that way
And
they
I've
can.
also seen, Robert, where I've got a CISA notification and email, but it was, and they're usually late. Got to give them slack though.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
Ninja's already ahead of the game. They've already had the patch out there. Just a matter of scanning your environment and pushing out that update.
yeah, yeah,
I also want to add to, I put the QR code up in the top of the screen here. If you join our Discord, things like this where people will let you know as much as they have. And Matt spoke about this as well earlier about, let me see if I can find the security channel, which is in our Discord. It'll get populated, and then there'll also be people saying, and this is how I fixed it, like in real time. And they're sharing that information with you in real time. So I would suggest joining our Discord to be kept up to date when things are added. And as those apps are being managed and things, maybe you'll find out early if you are active in our community. We have one more question from Death Trooper. Um, for vulnerability scanner, how does it stack against other real-time scanners? They've been using it for a while, and it has caught very little versus the current solution. So just your guys' opinion on
Um,
vulnerability scanner.
It's still very new. You got to give it some slack. Every new product will take some time to build out the actual
Yeah.
database. Rapid7's been in it for years, so that's one reason why a lot of people have started with that one. But I would say the momentum that Ninja picks up with every product, give it a year, maybe less than a year, and they will be in the same space as most of these. The real-time solution, though, the real-time scanning component is a huge benefit, especially for auditors who need that now. I haven't met an auditor that needs it right now, but it's good to have that in case, like, say you do have a last minute audit of something and you have to get something out there. Um, just an example, but yeah, give it some time. I would say you are right as far as like it does take it does take some time for products like this to mature, but just give it some time. Once it's fully out there and ready for adoption, they'll have a lot more within the database to pull from.
Yeah.
Hope that helps.
Should. Should.
But examples too, if you're in the Discord, give examples of something it didn't catch. That will definitely help the developers figure out like where the gaps are. I'm sure they have it on their roadmap, but it doesn't hurt to send that out in the community of something it didn't catch.
Yeah. And hitting on the community. Here we go. I'm pretty active in the Discord. I think a lot of people might know me from there. But being in the community helps so much. There's so many things that you can. People already did something. They already made something. And if they haven't made something, talk to people, give feedback. You can easily talk to Greg Thomas. He's the product manager for the vulnerability management system that Ninja's building. Let them know if you have any questions, if there's a false positive, something like this is, I have this updated and it's still showing. Add it to support, they'll get it over to the right people. Just help improve the products. Ask people. Like, there's some samples here, like there's already people that solved it. It can save you hours or days, like just by using something that someone already built. There's no need to start from zero. Let's look it up. There's a script share that's huge. It's been built over years.
Yes, lots of solutions there. Lots of people upvoting there. You will find a solution to something in there that you
Yeah,
need.
yeah,
Um, every day I'm going in there and finding new things that I need in my environment, and of course I'm testing it. But absolutely a great community with scripts.
yeah. And if you have need any advice on how to patch something, like you have this specific MSI that you need to upload, talk. It's bigger than 1 GB. Like ask for solutions, how to get it to your systems. Yeah, and we have well, the NinjaOne vulnerability importer. That's the GUI that I built just to be able to upload all those CSVs. If you don't want to mess with the API, you just need your client ID, your secret that you can fill in, and you can automate uploading all those CSVs. Just like a sample that we built. I think there's more questions from Dev Trooper. It's just a comment.
Yeah, so we just have some comments. We have this question about plans to scan for CWE as well as CVEs. Again, plans and things, I will relay those questions and we can either get back to you in the comments here once I get an answer, or again, join our Discord. But cannot comment on plans in this stream just because none of us work on that side of things.
Yeah.
So I would hesitate to put out a date and then get screamed at by Greg because I'm way off. So some comments, just another one from Death Trooper, has a few CF worker-based integrations for NinjaOne and use the AP a lot and build a lot out for Ninja. We just, again, let me put up this QR code because I am obviously, as the community manager, just a big proponent of our Discord. We just also opened a new channel forum called Tech Triumph. So if you build something and you think it's awesome and you think people can get some use out of it, there's a place for you to just drop that in there, tell people what it's about, and see and get some feedback. We also have, like they said, the script share where people are constantly sharing scripts. It's probably one of our bigger or one of our most active spaces, not only in the Discord, but in the dojo. We have a community script share. And then again, the template library that is constantly being updated. I think there's like over 400 scripts or something in there now that have been tested by NinjaOne. And um, you can like add directly to your instance. Again, if you're using something from the community, like Chrome said, test it yourself. Be mindful about that. Don't just automatically start using that in your environment without testing, because everyone has different specifications, things that they're trying to do. And so those community scripts are being shared, but you want to make sure that it works for your environment and that you tweak the things as you need them tweaked. Um, we don't have many other questions, but keep giving them. Um, keep
Yeah,
putting
in
them in
the
here, questions, comments, or things. Dylan on Facebook says he's had some issues on the MDM side that he put a ticket in, but again, um, NinjaOne's vulnerabilities, it's new, and we will follow up with you. And one of the things too, like Lottie said, the product managers and the staff, especially the product managers, they're very um, embedded in our Discord and in our community. So you can talk to them like one on one. You can say, like, hey, I'm seeing some issues on this side or things. And that really helps them figure out not only what you're seeing and how you're using the tools in real time, but also what to prioritize. And along with that, we have the product board where you can not only submit feature requests, but you can vote. If you see something on the product board, you can just give it a like and something, and that also helps prioritization. So not to say that they're not working on it, but um, the more interest people have in a specific feature or a specific request, this the more likely it would be that that gets worked on sooner or prioritized, I guess is the word that I'm looking for. Lobby also, thank you. We just put the link to the product board in the chat. So, any last comments or things you want to leave with people? I do have a question for both of you, and just in terms of if I'm starting from scratch, right? We we're using just the bare bones vulnerabilities, and I'm swamped in all of these alerts. I've got so many things, and I do not know how to get a handle or get control over it. What is like the first thing that you would suggest?
Process.
build a process, have the meetings,
Yep.
discuss what your issues are, high level, start high level,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
then really just trying to get a handle on vulnerabilities. You have to first know what's out there, and so being able to scan for them using the agent. If you have the agent out there, you've already tackled more than a great majority. I'd say 90+% of the things out there that you need to know about. Uh, then it's from there, it's building that process, like Robert said, and trying to get a hold of that data, report that data, get some kind of visibility of that data so that you can then tackle it at all angles. Because there's different ways. You're not going to think that like a vulnerability for your PDUs or your switches is something you should tackle first, but you got to think of like, okay, these are edge devices, or these are things out there in our network that haven't been touched in years and need an extra set of eyes or need a process to be able to fix those. So you got to start with the hardware, you got to start with the software side of things, They're just different angles that you have to come up with a process and a plan for. So at least having that visibility first is where you need to start having those meetings to where you can talk with your network team, your help desk team, like Robert said, the help desk manager, to say, hey, this could impact the help desk for these reasons, But communication, that's really what starts from. Start with communication. Yep. I know that's easy to say that over here, but it's one of the hardest things to do in an organization is communicate effectively. So.
Yep.
One more question, because I think vulnerability, to me, there's always some new vulnerability, as much patching as you do, they will find a way. How often are you kind of auditing that process and figuring out, okay, they've gotten smarter than the system that we set up a year ago?
They're already smarter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, Robin. Yeah. So
Yep.
Again, proactive security. So something to keep in mind, reactive security is going to be your antivirus solution, things that, okay, they're in, but we're blocking them, we're containing, we're stopping the threat right there. This prevents their ability to find that exploit, to be able to get into your systems, to get into your organization. So you're at the proactive approach. I hope that answers your question. That's kind of where you would want to start with, is knowing that it's proactive security. Start with that first, and then understand the difference between proactive and reactive. So.
Yep. Any last things you guys want to do before we hop off here? Oh, lobby.
Oh, yeah.
Show off your.
You want to show off your swag? I want to just make a point that earlier he said he's pretty active in the community. So in March, we just did March Scripting Madness, in which people were submitting scripts that they used and everyone voted, and he won. So out of the top 16 scripts, his script that he submitted was the favorite. And the winner, that USS Enterprise Lego set already built. I feel like I personally have gone through the international shipping hell with you. I learned all of what not to do because of the swag and stuff I've tried to send to you. So you want to show off some of your favorite Ninja swag, or any swag, really?
Well, this one.
Yeah. Ichi.
Ichi.
Yeah. No one else is gonna get those guys, by the way, because those were
well, and the coins as well. Just one coin, but which I don't really have. I need more, but
the coin, the IT Misery Challenge coin. Yeah. Nice. Just so you guys know, that little Ichi, it was a test, and of the ones that we ordered and got, like, so many of them were broken.
Casualties.
And they were the ones that we sent out. Like, we're like, hope you have some super glue handy. So that cute, very cute. I don't even have one, but it was a test run, and Lobby's such a community champion that he got that.
I had to use glue as well. So yeah.
Adorable, very fragile. Awesome. So I just want to thank you guys again so much for not only joining us on this stream, but just everything that you give to our community, all of the sharing that you've done, and being willing to like put yourselves out here and help people. I think it's invaluable. I think it's one of the things that makes the NinjaOne community one of the best spaces on the internet. Not just because of how involved our staff is, but because of how involved our community is and how willing you are to share what you're learning and talk about it in real time, and also just help other people in their journey. So thank you again. We will be back. There will be more Like a Ninja streams. If there is a topic that you want us to tackle, if there's something that you want, it's not, these streams are made for you. It does not have to be Ninja specific. Obviously, we want it to be things that like our customers are challenged with, or things that they want to learn more about. But like, like in this stream, we don't just talk about Ninja software. So if there are some other topics that you want us to discuss or tackle in future streams, let me know. You can reach out to me, leave a comment on this video. I love, 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 love when people give me topic ideas, because I spend a lot of time trying to figure out what you guys want to talk about. So thanks again. Thank you, Lobby. Thank you, Chrome.
Yep.
Thank you,
And
Robin.
we will see you guys on the internet.
All right. Thank you all.
Yep. Bye.